If you listen closely to the rhythms of the natural world, you will find animals with superpowers thriving in every corner of the globe. Let us begin a soothing journey into the hidden potential of life itself. Deep in the ocean, the immortal jellyfish has unlocked a secret we can only dream of, utilizing a process called transdifferentiation to revert its cells to a juvenile state and begin its life over again endlessly. It is a cycle of eternal return that brings a sense of peace, much like the comfort you might feel as you like this video and subscribe for more calming stories about our universe. These abilities are not fiction, but the result of biology pushing the physical limits of what is possible. Consider the humble axolotl, which has mastered regeneration to such a degree that it can regrow lost limbs, intricate nervous systems, and even parts of its brain, acting as if the injury never occurred. While we marvel at strength in our stories, the horned dung beetle quietly demonstrates true power by pulling over 1,000 times its own body weight, a feat of leverage and muscle that defies expectation. Nature has also conquered the freezing cold in ways that seem impossible to the warm-blooded mind. The wood frog allows its body to freeze solid during the winter, its heart stopping entirely in a suspended animation, only to miraculously restart the rhythm of life once the ice melts. Speed, too, has been perfected by the peregrine falcon, which evolves into a blur of motion, diving at 240 miles per hour, breathing easily despite the rushing wind, thanks to specialized baffles in its nostrils that regulate airflow. Even in the unseen world, the microscopic tardigrade proves that size does not equal fragility, surviving the vacuum of space and the deepest ocean pressures by entering a protective, glass-like state. From the snap of a pistol shrimp that creates a cavitation bubble hotter than the surface of the sun, to the electric navigation of bees, the world is filled with living marvels that challenge our understanding of reality. These are not rare exceptions, but the standard for a planet that has had billions of years to solve complex problems with elegant biological solutions. Now, let us drift away from the broad strokes of nature's canvas and focus our gaze on a single, quiet miracle hidden beneath the surface of Mexico's ancient lakes. Here, in the cool, dark waters of Xochimilco, lives a creature that has seemingly conquered the passage of time itself, not by living forever, but by refusing to accept the permanence of injury. This is the axolotl, often called the Mexican walking fish, though it is not a fish at all, but a salamander of profound capability and gentle demeanor. To look at an axolotl is to see a creature that seems perpetually frozen in a state of youthful curiosity. With its wide, flat head, lidless eyes, and a mouth that appears always curled into a gentle, enigmatic smile, it floats through the water like a visitor from a softer world. Feathered external gills frame its head like a crown of pink or red ferns, gently waving in the current to pull oxygen from the water. But its true power lies not in its charming appearance, but in a biological superpower that rivals the wildest creations of science fiction, a power that has captivated humanity for centuries. Most animals, including humans, heal by patching over damage. We create scars, a fibrous biological glue that holds us together but lacks the function and sensitivity of the original tissue. The axolotl, however, operates on a completely different set of rules. It is a master of regeneration. If this gentle amphibian loses a limb, it does not simply heal the wound and move on with a stump. Instead, it initiates a complex biological symphony to regrow the lost part entirely. This is not a clumsy or partial repair job. The regeneration is flawless. Bone, muscle, nerve, and skin are all woven back together in perfect harmony. Within a few weeks, a tiny replica of the missing limb appears, and soon it is indistinguishable from the original. It is as if the creature possesses an unshakable cellular memory, a perfect blueprint that cannot be erased by trauma. This restorative power extends far beyond simple appendages. The axolotl can regenerate its tail, its spinal cord, and even substantial portions of its own heart. Perhaps most baffling of all to the scientists who study them in quiet, dimly lit laboratories is their ability to regrow parts of their brain. If a section of their neural architecture is damaged, the axolotl gently, slowly rebuilds the connections, restoring function where almost any other vertebrate would face permanent silence. The secret to this ability is inextricably linked to their refusal to grow up, a biological phenomenon known as neoteny. Unlike other salamanders that eventually lose their gills and move to land, the axolotl remains in its larval form for its entire life, maintaining the plasticity and potential of an embryo. When injured, their cells do not lock into a final, rigid state. Instead, they revert, traveling back in time to become like stem cells, ready to become whatever the body needs at that moment. It is a form of eternal youth, a biological flexibility that allows them to shrug off the wear and tear of existence, remaining forever whole, forever healing, and forever drifting in the calm waters of their eternal childhood. But while the axolotl remains in a state of perpetual youth, there is another denizen of the deep that has mastered the art of returning to it. This ability goes beyond the simple regeneration of a lost limb or a damaged tail. It is a complete rejection of the aging process itself. In the vast, silent blue of the world's oceans drifts a creature known as Turritopsis dohrnii, or more commonly, the immortal jellyfish. It is a tiny speck of life, often no larger than a pinky nail, transparent and bell-shaped, pulsing rhythmically through the currents like a heartbeat suspended in water. For most living things, life is a straight line, a journey from birth to maturity and finally to the end. But for this jellyfish, life is a circle. When the immortal jellyfish finds itself physically damaged, starving, or simply growing old, it does not accept the end of its cycle. Instead, it triggers a process that is unique in the animal kingdom. It stops swimming and begins to sink, drifting slowly down through the water column until it rests on the soft, dark ocean floor. Here, in the quiet depths, it begins to fold in on itself. The bell of the jellyfish, which once propelled it through the sea, is reabsorbed. Its tentacles, which once reached out for food, are retracted and dissolved. The creature literally shrinks, abandoning its adult form and turning into a shapeless, soft blob of organic matter. To understand how miraculous this is, imagine a butterfly that has grown tired of flying. Imagine it landing on a leaf, folding its colorful wings, dissolving its body, and reverting back into a chrysalis, only to emerge days later as a young caterpillar once more. This process is called transdifferentiation. It is a biological superpower where the jellyfish's cells change their identity entirely. A muscle cell might transform into a nerve cell, or a skin cell might become a reproductive cell. The organism rearranges its fundamental building blocks, wiping the slate clean of age and injury. From this small, dissolved cyst on the sea floor, a new life stage begins. It grows into a polyp, a stalk-like structure that looks more like a tiny plant than an animal. This polyp anchors itself to the rock, swaying gently in the current, and begins to bud. From these buds, genetically identical clones of the original jellyfish are released back into the water. They are young, fresh, and perfect replicas of the adult that sank to the bottom. In this way, the original jellyfish has not died, it has simply restarted its life. It has turned back the hands of its internal clock, escaping the flow of time to swim once again in the eternal loop of its own existence. From this phantom-like existence of the immortal jellyfish, where life circles back upon itself in silence, we drift now toward the shallow, sun-drenched reefs where the water fractures light into a dazzling kaleidoscope. Here, amidst the coral and the shifting sands, lives a creature that embodies the very essence of vibrancy, possessing a set of superpowers that seem borrowed from science fiction. This is the domain of the mantis shrimp, a small crustacean that hides a sophisticated universe within its gaze. While the jellyfish survives by becoming invisible, the mantis shrimp thrives by perceiving a level of reality that is completely inaccessible to the human mind. To understand the magnitude of their sensory power, we must first reflect on our own vision. When we look at a rainbow, or a painting, or a vibrant sunset, our eyes are detecting three primary bands of color: red, green, and blue. Every hue we have ever named, every shade of turquoise or magenta we have ever admired, is simply a combination of these three channels. But the mantis shrimp views the ocean through 12 to 16 different color receptors. If our vision is a simple three-note chord, theirs is a complex, multi-layered symphony involving instruments we do not even possess. They see colors we cannot name and cannot imagine, perceiving distinct wavelengths deep into the ultraviolet spectrum.
A seemingly plain gray fish might appear to them as a glowing beacon of neon patterns, revealing secrets of health, species, and intent that remain invisible to every other predator on the reef. Their eyes themselves are marvels of independent engineering, mounted on mobile stalks that can swivel and rotate completely separately from one another. While humans rely on binocular vision, using two eyes together to perceive depth, the mantis shrimp possesses trinocular vision in each individual eye. This means a single eye can gauge distance and depth with perfect accuracy, allowing them to scan two different realities simultaneously. Furthermore, they are among the few animals on Earth capable of seeing polarized light. To us, light is simply brightness, but to them, light has a geometry, twisting and spiraling as it travels through the water. This allows them to cut through the glare of the ocean and communicate with one another using polarized patterns on their shells, a secret visual language that is broadcast in plain sight yet remains encrypted against the rest of the world. However, this rainbow-colored observer is not merely a passive watcher of the reef, it is also a master of physics. Tucked beneath its vibrant carapace, the mantis shrimp conceals a pair of raptorial appendages that function like spring-loaded traps. The mechanism is similar to a medieval crossbow, where energy is stored in a saddle-shaped structure within the arm, building up immense tension until it is released. When the mantis shrimp strikes, it does so with an acceleration that rivals a gunshot. The limb moves so fast, reaching speeds of 50 miles per hour in mere thousandths of a second, that it defies the resistance of the water. This speed creates a phenomenon that is almost magical in its physics.
As the club strikes, it moves away from the water faster than the water can fill the space behind it, creating a vacuum. This results in the formation of cavitation bubbles, tiny pockets of low pressure that instantly collapse. When these bubbles implode, they release a shock wave of energy that hits the target just a fraction of a second after the physical strike, essentially hitting the object twice. The physics of this bubble collapse is so extreme that for a fleeting nanosecond, the gas inside the bubble heats up to temperatures rivaling the surface of the sun and emits a tiny flash of light, a phenomenon known as sonoluminescence. It is a release of heat and light born purely from the speed of movement, turning the heavy, viscous medium of seawater into a weapon of pure energy. To live as a mantis shrimp is to exist in a world of hypercolors and shock waves, where the senses are tuned to a frequency of detail that makes our own experience of the world seem like a monochrome sketch. Leaving behind that vibrant underwater spectrum, we rise from the depths to drift into the velvet embrace of the night air, where the rules of perception shift entirely. While the mantis shrimp dominates the realm of hypervision, other creatures have mastered the art of navigating the absolute absence of light. In the cooling twilight, as the sun dips below the horizon, the bat awakens to a world that is not defined by photons or color, but by the complex rhythmic geometry of sound. It is here, in the shadows, that we encounter one of nature's most sophisticated navigation systems, biological sonar, or echolocation. To understand the bat, we must first gently dismantle the persistent myth that these creatures are blind. They are not. Their eyes are functional, often quite capable in dim light and perfectly suited for orientation. However, they possess a secondary sense so acute, so incredibly precise, that it renders vision almost unnecessary for the hunt. As a bat takes flight, it shouts into the darkness. These are not the squeaks we might hear with our limited human ears, but high-frequency pulses, often ultrasonic, generated by a specialized larynx capable of contracting at incredible speeds. Imagine standing on a cliff, shouting into a canyon, and waiting for the echo to return. Now imagine doing that 100 times every second while flying at top speed, avoiding twisting branches and tracking a target no larger than a coin. The bat emits a sound wave that travels through the air, striking every object in its path, a tree trunk, a swaying leaf, or the soft abdomen of a moth. The sound bounces back, returning to the bat's highly sensitive ears. The time it takes for the echo to return tells the bat exactly how far away an object is, but the information contained in that returning whisper is far richer than mere distance. By analyzing the subtle changes in the pitch and quality of the echo, the bat can discern texture with startling clarity. A hard beetle shell reflects sound differently than the soft, dusty wings of a moth. It can determine size, shape, and even the speed at which an insect is moving.
This is a level of auditory processing that borders on the miraculous, essentially allowing the bat to see with sound, constructing a three-dimensional topographic map of its surroundings in total darkness. Consider the specificity required to snatch a mosquito from the air. The bat does not merely detect an obstacle, it detects the specific flutter of a wing. As a moth beats its wings, it creates a tiny rhythmic fluctuation in the echo returning to the bat. The bat's brain isolates this signature flutter from the background noise of rustling leaves and wind, locking on to the prey with laser-like focus. Some bats can even adjust the frequency of their calls to compensate for the speed of their own flight,
a natural utilization of the Doppler effect to ensure the returning image remains sharp and clear. This acoustic world is incredibly loud to those who can hear it, yet to us, the night remains peaceful and silent. It is a hidden layer of reality, a bustling superhighway of signals occurring just above the threshold of human perception. There is something deeply soothing about this realization, that the quiet darkness outside your window is actually teeming with life and communication, an unseen ballet orchestrated by physics and biology. The bat does not fear the dark, because for the bat, the darkness is as detailed and textured as the brightest day. It moves through the void with absolute confidence, trusting in a sensory superpower that turns the invisible air into a tangible landscape, proving that one does not need light to truly see. While the bat navigates the open air with bursts of sound, a different kind of master traveler moves through the heavy, silent blue of the deep ocean. Here, in the saltwater realm, the rules of physics shift, allowing for a sensory ability that feels almost like magic to those of us confined to the land. As a shark glides effortlessly over a sandy ocean floor, it appears to be simply looking with its eyes or smelling the currents, but it is actually engaged in a much more profound interaction with its environment. It is reading the invisible energy of the world around it. If you were to look closely at the snout of a shark, right around the nose and mouth, you would see a series of tiny, dark pores that look almost like freckles. These are not for smelling, and they are not for touch in the traditional sense. They are known as the ampullae of Lorenzini, named for the Italian anatomist who first described them in the 17th century, though he did not understand their true purpose at the time. These pores are the openings to deeper canals filled with a highly conductive jelly-like substance. This jelly connects the external ocean water directly to the shark's nerve endings, creating a delicate bridge between the animal's internal world and the electrical universe outside. This system grants the shark a superpower known as electroreception. It is a sense that allows them to detect the faint bioelectric fields emitted by living things. Every time a creature moves a muscle, every time a neuron fires, and every time a heart beats, a tiny electrical charge is generated. In the conductive medium of salt water, this charge travels, fading over distance, but remaining distinct to those equipped to feel it. This means that for a shark, nothing that is alive can ever truly be hidden. Imagine a flounder or a ray buried completely under the sand. To the eye, the seafloor looks empty and barren. The prey is perfectly camouflaged, holding its breath, motionless and silent. Yet simply by existing, that buried fish is betraying its location. Its heart is beating, sending out a rhythmic electrical pulse that radiates through the sand and into the water. The shark, cruising slowly above, feels this pulse. It does not need to see the fish to know it is there. It feels the spark of life against its skin, a faint tingle that maps out exactly where the heartbeat is coming from. This sensitivity is so acute that sharks can detect a change in voltage amounting to billionths of a volt. It is often described as the equivalent of detecting a single standard battery connected across thousands of miles of ocean. Beyond hunting, this sixth sense connects the shark to the planet itself. As the shark swims through the Earth's magnetic field, the interaction creates a faint electric current that the shark can feel, effectively giving it an internal compass that functions without looking at the sun or the stars. They are always oriented, always connected, drifting through the deep with a confidence born of total awareness. Yet resilience takes many forms, and sometimes the greatest durability is found not in the giants of the deep, but in the microscopic specks they might swallow by the billion without ever noticing. If we shift our focus from the shark's sensory mastery and zoom in, past the large mammals, past the insects, down into the hidden world within a single droplet of water, we find an animal that defies the very laws of biology as we understand them. This is the tardigrade, often affectionately known as the water bear or the moss piglet. At less than a millimeter long, these pudgy, eight-legged creatures look somewhat like a microscopic bear in a rumpled spacesuit, lumbering slowly over forests of lichen and moss. But do not let their clumsy, adorable appearance fool you. They are, quite arguably, the toughest living things in the known universe. While other animals have adapted to survive in specific environments, the tardigrade seems adapted to survive everything, everywhere, all at once. If you were to look for the limits of life, the tardigrade would be standing there, comfortable and unbothered, well past the line where other organisms would perish. Consider the extremes of temperature. Most life on Earth occupies a very narrow thermal window. We struggle when it is too hot or too cold. The tardigrade, however, can withstand being heated to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, temperatures that would boil water and destroy proteins. Conversely, they can be frozen to almost absolute zero, the theoretical temperature where all molecular motion stops. They have been found living happily in boiling hot springs and deep beneath the ice of Antarctica, completely indifferent to the thermal chaos around them. But their superpowers extend beyond mere temperature. In 2007, scientists strapped a colony of tardigrades to the outside of a rocket and launched them into low Earth orbit. For 10 days, these tiny wanderers were exposed to the hard vacuum of space, a place with no air, no pressure, and freezing darkness. More terrifyingly, they were bathed in unfiltered solar radiation, a cosmic bombardment that shreds DNA and sterilizes surfaces. When the capsule returned to Earth, the scientists rehydrated the tardigrades. They didn't just survive, they woke up, shook themselves off, and went about their day, reproducing as if they had merely taken a long nap. This ability to withstand radiation is a marvel of biological engineering. They possess a unique protein that acts as a shield for their genetic material, physically hugging their DNA to prevent it from snapping under stress.
If we shift our focus from the shark's sensory mastery and zoom in, past the large mammals, past the insects, down into the hidden world within a single droplet of water, we find an animal that defies the very laws of biology as we understand them. This is the tardigrade, often affectionately known as the water bear or the moss piglet. At less than a millimeter long, these pudgy, eight-legged creatures look somewhat like a microscopic bear in a rumpled spacesuit, lumbering slowly over forests of lichen and moss. But do not let their clumsy, adorable appearance fool you. They are quite arguably the toughest living things in the known universe. While other animals have adapted to survive in specific environments, the tardigrade seems adapted to survive everything, everywhere, all at once. If you were to look for the limits of life, the tardigrade would be standing there, comfortable and unbothered, well past the line where other organisms would perish. Consider the extremes of temperature. Most life on Earth occupies a very narrow thermal window. We struggle when it is too hot or too cold. The tardigrade, however, can withstand being heated to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, temperatures that would boil water and destroy proteins. Conversely, they can be frozen to almost absolute zero, the theoretical temperature where all molecular motion stops. They have been found living happily in boiling hot springs and deep beneath the ice of Antarctica, completely indifferent to the thermal chaos around them. But their superpowers extend beyond mere temperature. In 2007, scientists strapped a colony of tardigrades to the outside of a rocket and launched them into low Earth orbit. For 10 days, these tiny wanderers were exposed to the hard vacuum of space, a place with no air, no pressure, and freezing darkness. More terrifyingly, they were bathed in unfiltered solar radiation, a cosmic bombardment that shreds DNA and sterilizes surfaces. When the capsule returned to Earth, the scientists rehydrated the tardigrades. They didn't just survive, they woke up, shook themselves off, and went about their day, reproducing as if they had merely taken a long nap. This ability to withstand radiation is a marvel of biological engineering. They possess a unique protein that acts as a shield for their genetic material, physically hugging their DNA to prevent it from snapping under stress.
While many cephalopods are masters of camouflage, capable of matching the texture and color of a rock or a patch of sand to become invisible, the mimic octopus takes this ability a dramatic step further. It does not just blend in, it boldly impersonates. It is the ocean's greatest character actor, possessing a repertoire of impressions so accurate that they fool not only human divers, but also the specific predators that stalk these waters. When the octopus needs to move across the open sand, a dangerous venture for a soft-bodied creature, it pulls its arms back, flattening them against its sides to create a leaf-shaped silhouette. It then undulates across the bottom, copying the exact swimming motion of a sole or a flounder, distinctively unappetizing flatfish that most predators ignore. If the threat level changes, so does the costume. Should a predator approach that is not fooled by a flatfish, the octopus might suddenly stop and hover in the water column. It spreads its arms wide, arranging them into a spiky radial fan, and shifts its color to bold bands of brown and white. In an instant, it has transformed into the likeness of a lionfish, a highly venomous creature with toxic spines that no sane predator would dare to bite. The transformation is fluid and hypnotic, a reshaping of flesh that happens in the blink of an eye, turning a delicious meal into a deadly hazard. Perhaps the most impressive feat in its theatrical library is the impersonation of the banded sea snake. By burying its body and 6 of its arms deep into the burrow or sand, the mimic octopus leaves only 2 arms exposed in opposite directions. It colors these arms with distinct black and white bands and writhes them with the specific sinuous motion of a sea snake. Since sea snakes are highly venomous and aggressive, this display effectively clears the area of potential threats. What makes this superpower truly profound is the intelligence required to wield it. This is not a random reflex. Scientists have observed that the mimic octopus chooses which animal to impersonate based on the specific creature threatening it. If attacked by a damselfish, the octopus will mimic a sea snake, which is known to hunt damselfish. It is a game of rock, paper, scissors played with life or death stakes, requiring the octopus to understand the predator relationships of the animals around it. It must know what its enemy fears. This biological wizardry is made possible by a body completely free of bones, a hydrostatic skeleton that allows for infinite flexibility. Every inch of its skin is a canvas covered in millions of chromatophores, pigment-filled sacs that expand and contract under neural control to paint patterns of fear and deception instantly. Watching a mimic octopus is like watching a living Rorschach test, a creature of pure potential that flows from one identity to another, proving that in the deep ocean, reality is often just a matter of perception. While the mimic octopus relies on the grand theatrical gesture of changing its silhouette, its cousin, the cuttlefish, masters the subtle, high-definition art of the pixel. If you were to look closely at the skin of a cuttlefish, you would be witnessing one of the most sophisticated biological displays on Earth, a living screen capable of broadcasting information faster than the human eye can process. This superpower relies on a complex layering of cells that function remarkably like the technology in a high-resolution television, yet biological evolution perfected this design millions of years before humanity even understood the nature of light. At the surface, their skin is a mosaic of millions of tiny elastic sacs called chromatophores, each one filled with yellow, red, or brown pigments. Every single one of these microscopic balloons is tethered to a tiny muscle and inextricably linked to the animal's brain. When the cuttlefish needs to change color, its brain sends a signal, the muscles contract, and the sacs snap open instantly, revealing the color inside. When the muscles relax, the sacs snap shut, hiding the color away. This transformation happens not through slow chemical changes, as seen in many other reptiles, but through rapid neural firing, allowing complex patterns to ripple across their skin in milliseconds. But pigment is only the top layer of this masterpiece. Beneath the pigment lie the iridophores, cells that act like biological mirrors. These are stacked plates that reflect light to create iridescent blues, greens, and silvers, shimmering with the same physics that give color to a hummingbird's throat or a butterfly's wing. Deeper still are the leucophores, which act as a background canvas, scattering light to create perfect bright whites. By mixing these three layers, pigment, reflection, and scattering, the cuttlefish can generate almost any color or pattern imaginable, effectively disappearing into a vibrant reef or a sandy seabed with terrifying accuracy. The illusion goes beyond mere color, extending into the third dimension.
These master disguise artists can physically alter the texture of their skin to match the tactile world around them. Using bundles of muscles called papillae, a cuttlefish can go from being as smooth as polished marble to as rough and craggy as a piece of barnacle-covered rock in a heartbeat. They can literally push their skin up into spikes and bumps to break up their outline, becoming indistinguishable from the gravel on the seafloor. Perhaps the most baffling aspect of this superpower is that cuttlefish are completely colorblind. They view the world in monochrome shades of green and gray. Scientists are still unraveling the mystery of how an animal that cannot see color can match it so perfectly. Some evidence suggests their oddly shaped W pupils allow them to detect polarized light, giving them a form of vision we can hardly comprehend, or that their skin itself contains light-sensitive proteins, allowing the body to sense its surroundings independent of the eyes. This living light show is not utilized solely for hiding. It serves as a weapon of hypnosis. When stalking a crab or a prawn, the cuttlefish will often employ a tactic known as the passing cloud display. Dark bands of color ripple rhythmically down its body, moving from head to tentacle over and over again like a hypnotic wave. It resembles the shadows of clouds drifting rapidly across a landscape or the static of a television screen. This rhythmic pulsing effectively overloads the sensory system of the prey. The crab simply freezes, mesmerized by the flowing waves of darkness and light, entranced by the beautiful display until the very moment the cuttlefish strikes. Leaving behind the hypnotic displays of the ocean floor, we turn our gaze upward, ascending past the shoreline and into the canopy, or perhaps just to the ceiling of a quiet room. Here, the laws of physics seem to bend in a different way, allowing for a feat that has fascinated humans for centuries. We watch a small lizard, the gecko, sprint up a vertical sheet of polished glass or hang upside down from a smooth leaf with effortless grace. For a long time, this ability was a complete mystery. People wondered if the gecko used tiny suction cups or perhaps secreted a sticky glue like a snail or a slug. But if you were to look closely at the footprint of a gecko, you would find nothing left behind. No slime, no residue, no moisture. The grip is entirely dry. To understand this superpower, we must shrink down in our imagination, zooming in past the skin, past the visible ridges on the toes, and into a microscopic forest. The bottom of a gecko's foot is covered in millions of tiny hairs called setae. These aren't like the hair on a mammal. They are complex, stiff structures. And the design gets even more intricate. At the end of each single microscopic hair, the structure splits again, branching out into hundreds of even smaller, nano-sized flat tips called spatulae. This fractal-like splitting creates a surface area that is mind-bogglingly vast for such a small creature. When the gecko places its foot down, these billions of nanotips spread out and press against the surface so closely that they engage with the very fabric of matter itself. They rely on a phenomenon known as van der Waals forces. It is a strange, subtle attraction that exists between individual molecules. On a normal scale, this force is negligible, merely a whisper of attraction that we never notice in our daily lives. But the gecko multiplies this whisper 1 billion times over until it becomes a shout. By maximizing the contact area at a molecular level, the gecko isn't just holding on to the wall. In a temporary physical sense, its feet are becoming one with the wall. It is a connection so intimate that it creates a bond stronger than simple friction. This is why a gecko can support its entire body weight on just a single toe. Yet the brilliance of this design is not just in holding on, but in letting go. If the bond were permanent, the lizard would be stuck in place. Instead, by simply changing the angle of its toe, curling it and peeling it back like a piece of tape, the intermolecular bond is instantly broken. This allows for rapid, fluid movement across ceilings and windows, a masterful dance of attachment and detachment. It is a technology of nature that engineers are still trying to perfectly replicate, proving that sometimes the strongest grip requires the gentlest, most intricate touch. From that masterful dance of attachment, we shift our gaze upward, letting go of the solid earth entirely to embrace the vast, open potential of the sky. To leave the safety of a surface requires a different kind of confidence, a trust in the invisible currents of the air itself.
High above the chaos of the ground, suspended in the blue silence, hangs the peregrine falcon. It is a creature that defines the very concept of velocity, living its life at a pace that seems to defy the biological limits of flesh and blood. When this bird decides to descend, it does not merely fly, it falls with intention, executing a maneuver known as the stoop, a controlled collapse of altitude that transforms it into the fastest animal on the planet. Imagine for a moment the sensation of that transition. The falcon tucks its wings tight against its body, reshaping its silhouette from a soaring raptor into a perfectly aerodynamic teardrop. It surrenders to gravity, allowing the pull of the earth to accelerate its small frame to speeds that are difficult to comprehend. We are talking about velocities exceeding 240 miles per hour. To put that into perspective, if you were to drive a high-performance sports car at its absolute limit on a straight track, This bird, made of hollow bones and feathers, would still overtake you in a blur of gray and white. However, traveling at such extreme speeds presents physical challenges that go beyond simple aerodynamics. The sheer force of the air rushing against the face at 200 miles per hour would typically make breathing impossible. The pressure would collapse the lungs of a lesser creature, or simply prevent air from entering the nose. Yet, the peregrine possesses a hidden superpower within its beak, a marvel of evolutionary engineering. Inside its nostrils are small, bony tubercles, tiny baffles that act as shock waves for the air. These structures slow down the rushing wind just before it enters the respiratory system, allowing the bird to breathe easily, even while plummeting toward the earth like a meteorite. It is a design so efficient that early jet engine designers studied the falcon's nose to prevent their engines from stalling at supersonic speeds. In that high-speed descent, the world blurs into streaks of color, but the falcon's vision remains locked and crystal clear. Its eyes are protected by nictitating membranes, built-in goggles that lubricate and shield the cornea without obstructing the view. While the wind roars around it, screaming across the stiff, compact feathers that are specially evolved to reduce drag, the bird exists in a pocket of calm focus. It is the eye of its own storm. The feathers do not flutter or vibrate, for vibration creates resistance. Instead, they lock together, turning the bird into a smooth, polished projectile. There is a profound peace in this mastery of physics, a realization that to move with the speed of the wind, one must not fight the air, but become perfectly shaped by it. If we descend from the high, thin air where the falcon reigns and slip beneath the surface of the sea, the tempo of life shifts from the frantic speed of the dive to the slow, heavy rhythm of the tides. Here, amidst the blue suspension of the deep, the giants of the ocean, whales and dolphins, possess a superpower that is perhaps even more miraculous than flight, born from the absolute necessity of survival. Unlike the fish that breathe water automatically, cetaceans are voluntary breathers, meaning every intake of air is a conscious decision. For them, to fall completely asleep as we do, to surrender fully to unconsciousness, would be to drown. And so, evolution has gifted them with the ability to sleep with only half a brain at a time, a phenomenon known as unihemispheric slow-wave sleep. It is a concept that seems almost alien to the human experience. Imagine resting deeply, your body repairing itself, your mind wandering through the landscape of dreams, while simultaneously remaining awake enough to navigate, to surface for air, and to keep watch for danger. When a dolphin sleeps, one hemisphere of its brain powers down into deep recovery, shutting the opposite eye. The other hemisphere remains alert, keeping the open eye trained on the surrounding water and the pod. After a period of hours, the sides switch, passing the torch of consciousness from left to right, ensuring that the animal is never fully vulnerable, yet never fully deprived of rest. This unique form of slumber creates beautiful behaviors in the wild. Sperm whales have been observed drifting vertically in the water column, suspended like massive pillars in a cathedral of silence, clustered together in pods, but entirely motionless. Pilot whales might float at the surface in a behavior known as logging, resembling felled trees bobbing gently on the waves, absorbing the warmth of the sun while their blowholes remain clear of the water. For a mother dolphin and her calf, this sleep is a synchronized dance. Because a newborn calf lacks the blubber to float effortlessly, it must keep swimming to avoid sinking.
The mother creates a slipstream with her body, a hydrodynamic cradle that pulls the calf along in her wake. This allows the little one to sleep while moving,
dragged gently through the currents by the invisible tether of the mother's momentum. There is something profoundly peaceful about this adaptation, a testament to the idea that rest does not always require a complete shutdown. It suggests that the mind is capable of a dual existence, balancing the needs of the body with the demands of the environment. In the quiet, weightless world of the ocean, sleep is not a pause in life, but a continuation of it in a softer key, proving that even giants can find a way to dream while navigating the darkness. While the great ocean dwellers solve the problem of rest by keeping one eye open and half a brain awake, continuously swimming through the currents, there is a small creature in the northern forests that takes the concept of rest to its absolute, frozen extreme. From the fluid, perpetual motion of the shark, we shift our gaze to the profound stillness of the wood frog, an animal that possesses the uncanny ability to simply switch off life itself when the temperature drops, effectively freezing time until the world becomes hospitable again. In the deep woods of North America, as autumn leaves form a brittle, rust-colored carpet over the soil and the air turns crisp and biting, the wood frog prepares for a sleep deeper than any ordinary hibernation. Most animals that hibernate seek deep burrows well below the frost line, hiding away where the earth remains soft and unfrozen. But the wood frog stays dangerously close to the surface, tucked just beneath the damp leaf litter, fully exposed to the encroaching chill. It does not fear the ice, it welcomes it. When the frost touches its skin, a remarkable signal is sent through its body, triggering a survival mechanism that seems more like alchemy than biology. As the temperature dips below freezing, the frog begins to freeze alongside the ground. Ice crystals start to form in the spaces between its cells, turning the water in its abdominal cavity solid. If you were to find one in the dead of winter, nestled under a log, it would feel like a cold, hard stone in your hand. Its eyes become opaque and white with frost. Its legs are stiff and unmoving. Most astonishingly, its heart completely stops beating. There is no breath, no circulation, and no detectable brain activity. By every clinical definition used in medicine, the frog appears dead. Yet it is merely waiting. The secret to this suspended animation lies in a sudden, desperate surge of sugar. At the first sign of ice touching its skin, the frog's liver begins to convert stored glycogen into massive amounts of glucose, flushing this natural antifreeze into every vital cell. This thick, syrupy solution lowers the freezing point of the fluids inside the cells, preventing the water there from crystallizing and rupturing the delicate membranes. The frog becomes a sugary confection of ice and potential energy, keeping the machinery of life intact even while physically suspended in a block of ice. This profound connection to the cold brings a certain quiet contemplation to mind, thinking about how nature dictates our own rhythms. As we imagine the stillness of the winter forest, I am curious to know which season you find most conducive to your own rest. Do you find the dark, cozy silence of winter nights more peaceful for sleep? Or do you prefer the soft, breezy relaxation of a summer evening? I would love to read about your favorite season for rest in the comments below. For the wood frog, that winter silence is absolute, lasting for months on end. It can even withstand freezing and thawing multiple times if the weather fluctuates, a resilience that defies expectation. But the true miracle happens when the spring sun finally breaks through the canopy, warming the forest floor. As the ambient warmth penetrates the leaf litter, the frog begins to thaw from the inside out. The The process is a slow, gentle reversal of the freezing. The heart, which has been silent and still for weeks, suddenly flickers. Without a jump start or an external shock, it simply resumes its rhythm, pumping warm blood back into cold limbs. Within hours, the frog is hopping, calling out for a mate, and continuing its life exactly where it left off, having traveled to the brink of death and returned, a master of freezing time itself. While the wood frog survives by surrendering to the cold and pausing its existence, other creatures choose a different path, conquering the elements through sheer collective will and engineering marvels that defy logic. In the scorching heat of the savanna, where the sun beats down with unrelenting force, we find the undisputed master builders of the natural world.
Termites, though individually blind, soft-bodied, and fragile, possess a superpower of cooperation that allows them to construct climate-controlled megacities. To truly appreciate the magnitude of their work, we must adjust our sense of scale. If a human were the size of a termite and we built a structure with the same relative proportions as a large cathedral termite mound, our tower would pierce the clouds, rising nearly 2 miles into the sky, far surpassing the height of the Burj Khalifa or any skyscraper humanity has ever dared to conceive. These towering spires of red earth are not lifeless piles of dirt. They are breathing entities, functioning exactly like a biological lung. Because the millions of insects inside generate immense heat through their constant movement and metabolism, the colony faces the permanent risk of suffocation and overheating. To solve this, the mound is designed with an intricate hidden network of ventilation shafts and chimneys. Hot, stale air rises through the central flute, pushed up by the colony's thermal energy, and as it escapes the peak, it creates a vacuum that draws cool, fresh air in through vents located at the damp base of the structure. This passive cooling system is so advanced that human architects have closely studied these mounds to design modern office centers that stay cool without air conditioning, attempting to mimic the genius of these tiny engineers. In some parts of the world, this engineering relies on a deep, invisible connection to the planet's magnetic field. The compass termites of Australia build distinct wedge-shaped mounds that look like giant tombstones scattered across the grassy plains. These structures are aligned perfectly north to south with a precision that rivals a magnetic compass. This orientation is a masterclass in solar management. In the morning and evening, the broad, flat sides soak up the weak sunlight to warm the colony. But at high noon, when the sun is most dangerous, only the thin knife edge of the mound faces the sky, minimizing the surface area exposed to the heat and ensuring the residents do not cook inside their own home. This obsession with temperature control serves a purpose far greater than simple comfort. Deep within the dark, protected chambers of the mound, the termites are hiding a secret garden. They are the world's oldest farmers, practicing agriculture for millions of years before humans planted their first seed. They cultivate a specialized fungus on combs of chewed wood and plant fiber. The termites cannot digest the cellulose in the wood themselves, so they feed it to the fungus, which breaks it down into a nutritious, protein-rich food source for the colony. This fungus is incredibly delicate, requiring precise humidity and temperature to survive. Therefore, the massive, towering mound is essentially a climate-controlled greenhouse built to protect a fragile mushroom farm. The walls of this fortress are constructed from a mixture of soil, saliva, and dung, which hardens into a material so durable it is akin to biological concrete, capable of standing for centuries against wind, rain, and larger animals, a permanent testament to the power of the small. While the termite finds strength in immobility, anchoring itself to the earth with fortress walls, there are those who find their strength in the endless, restless rhythm of the horizon. Far above the solid ground, where the air grows thin and crisp, the Arctic tern demonstrates a superpower of an entirely different nature, one defined not by holding its ground, but by traversing the entire globe. This slender, elegant bird, with its sharp, forked tail and wings that seem to carved from the wind itself, undertakes a journey that defies the imagination of any land-bound creature. It is the longest migration known in the animal kingdom, a zigzagging odyssey that takes it from the very top of the world to the very bottom and back again, year after relentless year. Every 12 months, this small traveler covers roughly 44,000 miles, often meandering in vast S-shaped curves to ride the most favorable winds. To put that incredible distance into perspective, over the course of its average 30-year lifespan, a single Arctic tern may fly the equivalent distance of 3 round trips to the moon. They are true citizens of the wind, creatures who treat the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans not as formidable barriers, but as simple highways to be crossed in the pursuit of a singular glowing goal. That goal is the sun. By breeding in the Arctic summer, where the sun never sets, and then flying all the way to the Antarctic summer, where the sun also refuses to dip below the horizon, the Arctic tern experiences more daylight than any living being on Earth. It lives in a perpetual state of brightness, effectively banishing the night from its existence for months at a time, chasing a summer that theoretically never ends.
But how does a bird weighing less than an apple navigate across thousands of miles of featureless open ocean, where the sky blends seamlessly into the sea and landmarks are non-existent? The secret lies in a biological superpower hidden deep within their physiology. Like the sea turtles and the homing pigeons, Arctic terns possess an internal compass, a sophisticated form of magnetoreception that allows them to sense the Earth's magnetic field. Scientists believe that specialized proteins in their eyes, known as cryptochromes, may allow them to actually visualize magnetic lines of force, seeing the magnetic field as a superimposed pattern over their vision, guiding them with the precision of a digital navigation system. This allows them to correct their course even when the stars are hidden by heavy cloud cover and the sun is obscured by storms. They are reading the invisible energy signature of the planet itself, trusting in the silent, magnetic hum of the poles to pull them toward their destination. Their flight is not a struggle against the elements, but a fluid dance with the air currents as they glide on updrafts to conserve energy, hovering over the water to pluck small fish from the surface, and living almost entirely on the wing, a testament to the endurance of life in motion. From this aerial mastery, we descend from the high currents of the ocean breeze down to the heat-baked sands of the African plains, where a much smaller creature prepares for a journey that is arguably even more impressive, though it takes place entirely on the solid ground. Here, scurrying across the arid earth, we find the nocturnal dung beetle. At first glance, this stout, industrious insect seems entirely bound to the terrestrial realm, forever occupied with the lowly task of gathering waste. Its life is defined by the soil and the scrub, pushing a sphere of dung that serves as both food and a nursery for its young. To secure this prize, the beetle must roll the ball away from the chaotic competition of the source pile as quickly as possible. The most efficient escape route is a perfectly straight line. Any deviation or any accidental circling back invites theft by other beetles lying in wait. During the day, maintaining this straight path is a matter of tracking the sun, keeping the light at a constant angle to their movement. But the species known as Scarabaeus satyrus works under the cover of darkness. When the moon is bright, it offers a reliable beacon, casting polarized light that the beetles can read with ease. However, on moonless nights, when the savanna is swallowed by an inky blackness and the moon has slipped below the horizon, this tiny creature performs a miracle of orientation. Before setting off, the beetle climbs atop its sphere and performs a quick rotating dance. It is scanning the heavens, turning its body to find a reference point. Scientists once wondered what they could possibly be seeing, until they discovered that these beetles are not looking for individual bright stars, for their compound eyes lack the resolution to distinguish specific points of light, like Sirius or Rigel. Instead, they are searching for the soft, glowing band that arches across the night sky, the Milky Way. By locking on to the cumulative light of billions of distant stars, the galaxy itself becomes their compass. It is a stunning realization that the only insect confirmed to use the Milky Way for short-range navigation is this tiny creature rolling a ball of manure across the desert floor. Experiments in planetariums confirmed that without that hazy streak of galactic light, the beetles lose their way and wander in circles. There is a deep, resonant beauty in this contrast. The beetle links the most grounded, earthy biological process, the recycling of decay, with the vast, silent grandeur of the cosmos. It suggests that even in the darkest moments, when the moon has turned away and the path seems unclear, there is always a guiding light if one knows how to look for the glow of the greater whole. From that ethereal cosmic glow, our attention shifts downward, descending through the dense, humid layers of the canopy to the vibrant, moss-covered floor of the rainforest. Here, amidst the decaying leaves and the dappled sunlight filtering through the trees, walks a creature that carries a power so potent it needs no claws, no fangs, and no great size to command absolute respect. The poison dart frog is a living jewel of the jungle, painted in hues of electric blue, warning yellow, and strawberry red, creating a stark contrast against the earthy browns of the forest floor. Yet one of the most fascinating truths about these tiny amphibians is that their lethal superpower is not written into their DNA at birth. It is a borrowed magic, accumulated slowly from the world around them. These frogs possess a unique biological ability known as sequestration.
Unlike a venomous snake, which manufactures its own toxins within internal glands regardless of where it lives, the poison dart frog acts as a chemical artisan. When they hatch, they are entirely harmless, but as they mature and hop along the undergrowth, they hunt for very specific ants, mites, and centipedes. These insects have fed on toxic plants, and the frog, in a feat of digestive alchemy, isolates those plant alkaloids from its meal and concentrates them into glands within its own skin. This reliance on diet is so total that if you were to take a poison dart frog out of the wild and care for it in a terrarium, feeding it ordinary crickets and fruit flies, it would eventually lose its toxicity entirely, becoming as harmless as a common toad. It is the wildness of the rainforest that arms them. The most extreme example of this is the golden poison frog, a creature no larger than a paperclip, yet regarded as one of the most toxic animals on Earth. A single individual carries enough batrachotoxin in its skin to stop the hearts of 10 grown men. However, this immense power is not used for aggression. The frog does not bite, nor does it strike. Its toxicity is a shield, not a sword. The brilliant colors are a phenomenon called aposematism, a visual signal that effectively serves as a do not disturb sign to the rest of the animal kingdom.
This allows the frog a luxury that few small creatures ever experience: the freedom to move openly and confidently during the day, unafraid of predators, wrapped in a chemical blanket of safety that grants them a life of undisturbed peace. While the frog wears its warning on its skin like a painted shield, deep in the heavy, silt-filled waters of the Amazon and Orinoco basins, there exists a creature that carries its power within, hidden until the very moment it is needed. In these dark, muddy rivers where sunlight struggles to penetrate more than a few feet, vision is an unreliable sense, and so nature has engineered a different way to see and a different way to strike. Here swims the electric eel, a master of bioelectrogenesis. Despite its common name and its long serpentine appearance, this animal is actually a type of knife fish, more closely related to carp and catfish than to the moray eels found in coral reefs. It is a fish that has essentially evolved to become a swimming battery pack. Its anatomy is a marvel of biological engineering, with nearly 80% of its body devoted entirely to the production of electricity. Inside that sleek dark gray frame lie 3 distinct pairs of abdominal organs that function like powerful generators: the main organ, the hunter's organ, and the socks organ. These organs are filled with thousands of specialized disc-shaped cells called electrocytes. You might imagine them stacked in precise rows, much like the plates in a voltaic pile or the cells in a car battery. When the fish is at rest, these cells are dormant, but when it identifies a threat or a target, a command from its brain travels down the nervous system, opening ion channels that allow sodium to rush in. This sudden chemical shift creates a current that flows simultaneously through thousands of cells, culminating in a discharge that can reach staggering levels. While a standard wall outlet in a North American home delivers 120 volts, the electric eel has been recorded generating up to 860 volts. It is enough power to stun a horse or light up a Christmas tree, a force of nature contained within a single living body. However, this immense power is not used for aggression. The frog does not bite, nor does it strike. Its toxicity is a shield, not a sword. The brilliant colors are a phenomenon called aposematism, a visual signal that effectively serves as a do not disturb sign to the rest of the animal kingdom. This allows the frog a luxury that few small creatures ever experience: the freedom to move openly and confidently during the day, unafraid of predators, wrapped in a chemical blanket of safety that grants them a life of undisturbed peace.
By sending out a specific pattern of fast, high-voltage doublets, the eel causes the muscles of a hiding fish to twitch uncontrollably. This involuntary movement reveals the prey's location, betraying it to the hunter. Once the target is located, the eel delivers the full force of its main organ, a paralyzing strike that freezes the prey's muscles instantly, allowing the predator to feed at its leisure. It is a creature that mastered the physics of electricity millions of years before humanity ever learned to harness the spark. While the eel relies on the silent accumulation of charge to dominate the riverbed, other creatures in the animal kingdom rely on mechanical engineering so advanced it defies our understanding of biological limits. Leave the murky waters behind and climb into the dappled sunlight of the canopy, where the master of disguise waits in absolute stillness. The chameleon is famous for its color-changing skin, often misunderstood as a simple mood ring or a hiding trick, but its true superpower lies within the unique architecture of its head. Before any action takes place, there's the observation. Its eyes are technological marvels, protruding from the skull like cone-shaped turrets.
Each eye moves completely independently of the other, rolling slowly in its socket. While the left eye tracks a fly buzzing near a leaf above, the right eye can leisurely scan the branch below for approaching threats. This creates a full 360-degree arc of vision without the animal ever needing to turn its neck. It processes two separate visual feeds simultaneously, a feat of mental coordination that would overwhelm the human brain. It sits there, looking for all the world like a painted statue, a permanent fixture of the tree bark. But when a target is locked, the independent eyes suddenly snap forward, converging on a single point to achieve perfect stereoscopic depth perception. This is the targeting computer coming online. Inside the chameleon's mouth, a biological spring is being coiled. The tongue is not merely a muscle like ours. It is a complex apparatus involving accelerator muscles and elastic collagen tissues, loaded over a bone called the hyoid. It functions less like a limb and more like a crossbow being drawn back to its maximum tension, storing potential energy that muscle power alone could never generate in such a short burst. Then the trigger is pulled. In a fraction of a second, so fast that the human eye registers it only as a vanishing blur, the tongue launches. The acceleration is violent and explosive. It accelerates from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 1/100th of a second. If you were to experience the G-forces involved in this launch, you would black out instantly, as the tongue pulls hundreds of Gs, far exceeding anything a fighter pilot endures. It extends to lengths often exceeding the chameleon's entire body, a projectile missile of flesh. At the tip of this ballistic weapon is a muscular suction cup covered in saliva that is 400 times stickier than human spit. It strikes the prey with unerring accuracy, the viscous fluid creating a bond that cannot be broken by the insect's struggle. Just as quickly as it fired, the elastic tissues recoil. The tongue snaps back into the mouth, folding up like a soft accordion, bringing the prize with it. The entire event takes less time than it takes you to blink. Once the meal is secured, the creature returns to its ancient stony stillness, the eyes drifting apart once more to watch the world in two directions, a silent sniper hidden in plain sight. While the chameleon waits for the world to come to it, frozen in a timeless patience, there is another creature that chases the world with a hunger that burns like a star. If you leave the cool shade of the leaves and step into the sunlit garden, you might hear the air vibrating with a low electric hum before you see the cause. This is the domain of the hummingbird, a creature that seems to exist in a different dimension of time entirely. While other avian masters rely on gliding on thermal currents or swooping from great heights, this tiny jewel defies gravity through sheer brute force disguised as elegance. Their wings do not merely flap up and down like those of a crow or a sparrow. If you could slow time, pausing the world just as you might pause a film, you would see that their wings trace a precise figure-8 pattern in the air. This specific rotation allows them to generate lift on both the forward and backward strokes, essentially treading the air as a swimmer treads water. They can fly backwards, sideways, and even upside down, maneuvering with the precision of a machine, yet powered by blood and bone. But this superpower comes at a staggering biological cost.
To maintain this suspension in space, their internal engine must run at a red line that would destroy almost any other animal. A hummingbird's heart is a marvel of biological engineering, a tiny muscular furnace that beats up to 1,200 times every single minute during flight. That is 20 beats every second, a rhythm so fast it becomes a singular tone, a vibration rather than a pulse.
Consequently, they live on the razor's edge of energy. They are perpetually hungry, often requiring their body weight in nectar every day just to keep that internal fire burning. They are sipping high-energy sugar from deep-throated flowers just to fuel the next few minutes of existence. And yet, this frantic pace presents a deadly problem when the sun sets. When the darkness comes and the flowers close, the hummingbird cannot simply sleep like we do. If they maintained that furnace-like body temperature and heart rate through the night without food, they would burn through their energy reserves and perish before dawn. So, they possess a secondary superpower, one of surrender. They enter a state called torpor. It is a profound, deep hibernation that happens every single night. Their body temperature plummets, dropping from a feverish 40 degrees Celsius down to 18, matching the cool night air. That racing heart, which blurred with speed only hours ago, slows dramatically, dropping to fewer than 50 beats per minute. They become rigid, cold, and unresponsive, suspending their life processes to save every ounce of energy. They effectively shut down the factory, drifting into a suspension between life and death, waiting for the warmth of the morning sun to reignite the fire within their chests, a nightly reminder that even the most energetic beings require deep, restorative stillness to survive.
I'm curious if you have a moment in your own life where you felt that kind of internal resilience. When was a time you felt emotionally tough or unbreakable, like you could withstand anything that rolled your way? Let me know in the comments, as it is always comforting to read about human strength. This beetle offers a profound sense of safety, reminding us that nature often builds its strongest creations not to attack, but simply to endure. That endurance takes a different shape when we shift our focus from the solitary individual to the overwhelming power of the collective. While the beetle survives by becoming a fortress of one, there are creatures that survive by becoming a singular, fluid entity made of millions. If you were to step back and blur your vision, you might mistake them for a flowing liquid, a river of dark energy moving across the forest floor. These are the ants, creatures that have mastered the art of cooperation so thoroughly that scientists often refer to a colony not as a group of individuals, but as a single superorganism. It is a humbling realization to consider that for every single human being on this planet, there are roughly 2.5 million ants. If you were to place all of humanity on one side of a giant scale and all the ants on Earth on the other, the scale would tip surprisingly close to even, hinting at the sheer density of life they represent. They are the silent, bustling foundation of the terrestrial world, possessing a superpower that we often struggle to comprehend: absolute unity. Among the most fascinating displays of this collective power is the behavior of army ants. When these nomadic legions encounter a gap in the terrain, a rushing stream, a chasm, or a break in the path, they do not turn back, nor do they search for tools. Instead, they build with the only material available to them, their own bodies. One by one, they link legs and mandibles, stretching themselves into living bridges and rafts. This is not a random pile, but a sophisticated architectural feat where the structure adjusts dynamically to the traffic flowing over it. They hold tight, muscles locked, allowing their sisters to march safely over their backs, a testament to a selfless dedication that ensures the survival of the whole over the comfort of the one. What drives this synchronized movement is a form of intelligence that emerges from the crowd. There is no general barking orders, and contrary to popular belief, the queen does not rule the colony with an iron fist. She merely serves as its reproductive heart.
The true ruler is the chemical web of communication that connects them. Through complex pheromone trails, millions of tiny minds merge into one massive distributed brain, capable of solving logistical problems that would baffle a supercomputer. This collective genius led ants to invent agriculture millions of years before humans ever planted a seed. Deep within the subterranean chambers of a leafcutter colony, you will find vast, humidity-controlled gardens. But they aren't eating the leaves they cut from the trees above. They're using that vegetation to farm a specific type of fungus. They weed their gardens, remove waste, and even use antibiotic bacteria growing on their bodies to kill parasites that might threaten their crop. They are the world's oldest farmers, tending to their white, fluffy harvest in the cool, dark earth while the world above sleeps. Their mastery over nature extends even to livestock. Just as we keep cows, certain ant species keep herds of aphids. They protect these tiny, soft-bodied insects from predators, shelter them during rainstorms, and in return, they gently stroke the aphids with their antennae to induce the release of honeydew, a sugary substance the ants drink. It is a peaceful, rhythmic cycle of care and consumption. Watching a line of ants is like watching the blood flow through the veins of the earth, a soothing, hypnotic pulse of life that never truly stops, reminding us that sometimes the greatest superpower is simply the ability to work together, seamlessly and without ego. From the sun-drenched trails of the forest floor, where thousands of tiny legs march in unison, we cast our minds toward the vast, undulating mirror of the sea. Here, the challenge is not how to work together in the light, but how to survive alone in the crushing dark. The Cuvier's beaked whale, a creature that looks somewhat like a large, scarred dolphin, holds the title for the single most impressive breath-holding capability of any mammal on Earth. While we might feel the urge to breathe after just 60 seconds, this master of the deep prepares to leave the surface for a duration that defies belief.
Before it dives, the whale is not simply taking a deep breath in the way we understand it. It is saturating its body with oxygen, but not primarily in its lungs. It stores this vital fuel in its blood and muscles, which are rich in a protein called myoglobin, allowing it to hold 10 times more oxygen in its muscle tissue than we can. Once prepared, it tips its head downward and slips beneath the waves, leaving the world of air and sunlight behind. As it descends, the water changes from a brilliant turquoise to a deep, bruising indigo, and finally to a black so absolute that vision becomes meaningless. To reach the places where it hunts, the Cuvier's beaked whale must dive nearly 3,000 meters down, entering the bathypelagic zone, often called the midnight zone. At these depths, the pressure is equivalent to having a small car parked on every inch of your body. A human submarine would need thick steel walls to survive here, yet the whale survives by doing something that seems counterintuitive. It surrenders to the pressure. At around 100 meters deep, the whale allows its lungs to collapse completely. Its ribcage is structured with flexible hinges, allowing it to fold inward without breaking. By collapsing its lungs, it pushes all the air into non-absorptive spaces, preventing nitrogen from entering the bloodstream and saving itself from the fatal condition known as the bends. Now, with lungs flattened and air squeezed away, the whale becomes negatively buoyant. It stops swimming and simply begins to fall, gliding effortlessly into the abyss like a sleeping stone. This phase of the dive is an exercise in extreme conservation. The whale shuts down blood flow to non-essential organs, directing oxygen only to the brain and heart, while its heart rate slows to a sluggish, rhythmic thump.
In this frozen, silent world, the whale is a solitary ghost. It has been recorded holding its breath for an astounding 3 hours and 42 minutes. Imagine watching 2 full-length movies back to back, all on a single breath of air. Down here, in the heavy embrace of the deep, it hunts for squid using echolocation, waiting for the faint clicking echoes to reveal a shape in the darkness. It is a superpower of patience and physiology, a testament to the quiet endurance required to live where life seems impossible. Leaving the crushing weight of the deep ocean behind, we rise up through the water column, break the surface, and find ourselves under the same silver moon, but now drifting silently toward the edge of an old, gnarled forest. Here, the darkness is filled with the scent of pine rather than soft, and the master of this shadowy domain possesses a superpower that is not about immense size or strength, but about the absolute absence of sound. The barn owl is the ghost of the woodlands, a predator defined by what it does not do. If you have ever stood near a pigeon taking flight, you know the loud, frantic clapping of wings against the air. Even a swift falcon makes a distinct, rushing whoosh as it dives, tearing the wind apart. But the barn owl slices through the night without a whisper, vanishing into the gloom as if it were made of smoke. This supernatural stealth is born from a marvel of biological engineering found in the leading edge of its primary flight feathers. Unlike most birds, whose feathers are stiff and straight, the owl possesses a fringe that is serrated, much like the teeth of a fine comb. When the wing sweeps down, this comb breaks the air turbulence into tiny, manageable currents, muffling the noise before it can begin. It turns a loud gust into a soft, velvety caress, allowing the owl to glide mere inches above the ground without alerting a soul. But this silence serves a dual purpose. It is not just to keep the prey unaware, it is to keep the owl's own listening environment pristine. By flying inside its own cone of silence, the owl ensures that the only sounds it hears are the ones that matter. This brings us to its second, equally impressive ability, an auditory map that rivals the most advanced sonar. If you look at the barn owl, you see that famous heart-shaped face. That disc of stiff feathers acts precisely like a satellite dish, capturing the faintest rustles and funneling them toward the ear canals. Yet the true secret lies in asymmetry. One ear is positioned slightly higher on the skull than the other. This uneven placement means that a sound, perhaps the tiny footfall of a field mouse, hits one ear a fraction of a millisecond before the other. This microscopic delay allows the owl's brain to triangulate the sound in 3-dimensional space instantly. It does not need to see the mouse. It creates a mental image of the prey's location, sound alone, striking with perfect accuracy in total darkness, a silent phantom guided by the geometry of the night.
While the owl navigates the shadows with sound, other creatures have evolved an even more direct solution to the absence of light. They simply create their own. In the humid air of a summer evening, the firefly performs a feat of chemistry that human engineering has envied for centuries. This biological light, known as bioluminescence, is a marvel of energy efficiency that makes our best technology look wasteful by comparison. When you touch a standard light bulb, you feel heat, which is essentially wasted energy that failed to become light. Through a complex internal reaction involving a molecule called luciferin and an enzyme called luciferase, the firefly mixes oxygen with these chemicals within a specialized organ in its abdomen. The result is a glow that is nearly 100% efficient, releasing energy almost exclusively as illumination with virtually no heat loss.
If a firefly were to get hot like a light bulb, it would not survive its own brilliance. So nature has perfected a cool, gentle burn. These flashes are not random. They're a sophisticated language of light. Each species has its own specific pattern of flashes, a Morse code of courtship used to locate mates in the tall grasses. In certain parts of the world, such as the Great Smoky Mountains, fireflies have even evolved to synchronize their signals, blinking in perfect unison across entire hillsides, creating a pulsing, rhythmic river of light that mirrors the stars above. This power to banish the dark is not limited to the soft breezes of the forest. If we descend from the trees into the crushing depths of the ocean, down to the midnight zone where sunlight has never touched, we find the same eerie glow serving a very different purpose. Here, in the eternal abyss, the deep-sea anglerfish drifts. She is perhaps the most iconic wielder of living light in the animal kingdom, adapted to a world of crushing pressure and absolute blackness. Extending from her forehead is a modified dorsal fin spine, acting as a built-in fishing rod that arches forward over her mouth. At the tip of this rod sits a fleshy bulb called the esca. Interestingly, the anglerfish cannot produce light on her own. The glowing lure is actually a vessel for a colony of bioluminescent bacteria. It is a symbiotic partnership born of necessity. The fish provides the bacteria with protection and nutrients from her blood, and in return, the bacteria glow for her, creating a beacon in the void. In the vast emptiness of the deep, food is incredibly scarce, and the anglerfish does not have the energy to chase prey. Instead, she waits with infinite patience. She dangles her glowing lantern in the darkness, twitching it gently to mimic the movements of a small shrimp or worm. In a world of total darkness, light usually signifies life, and curious creatures are drawn to the lure, swimming closer to the invisible jaws waiting just behind the glow. It is a striking example of convergent evolution, where two completely different lineages, a beetle in a summer garden and a fish in the crushing deep, both stumbled upon the secret of generating their own illumination. Whether floating on a gentle breeze or drifting in the high-pressure depths, these living lanterns remind us that life has a persistent habit of shining, quite literally, through the darkest of nights. While those creatures illuminate the physical darkness of the deep, there are others who carry a different kind of light, the enduring light of memory, burning steadily across decades and vast savannas. We turn our attention now to the elephant, the quiet sage of the animal kingdom, whose cognitive powers are as massive as their physical frames. An elephant's brain is the largest of any land animal, weighing over 10 pounds, and within that complex neural architecture lies a superpower that rivals any technology we have invented: the ability to remember, to feel, and to communicate through the very earth itself. Consider the ground beneath an elephant's feet. To us, it is just soil or grass, but to an elephant, the earth is a vibrant telephone network. They possess a remarkable form of seismic communication, using the sensitive, fatty pads of their feet to detect vibrations traveling through the ground. When a herd is moving miles away, or even when a thunderstorm is rolling in from the distant horizon, an elephant can sense the low-frequency rumbles, known as infrasound, traveling through the crust of the planet. They will often freeze in place, lifting one foot slightly off the ground and leaning forward, pressing their toes into the dust to triangulate the signal. It is a form of deep listening, hearing not with ears, but with the body, allowing them to stay connected to family members who are far beyond the range of sight. This connection to the earth is matched only by their connection to time.
The phrase, "an elephant never forgets," is more than a cliché. It is a biological survival strategy. The matriarch of a herd, the oldest and wisest female, acts as a living library for her family. During severe droughts, she can recall the exact location of a watering hole she visited only once, perhaps 30 or 40 years ago. She holds a mental map of hundreds of miles of terrain, remembering not just the geography, but the seasonal rhythms that dictate when water will be found. Her memory is the safety net for the entire herd, a cognitive superpower that guides them through the harshest seasons. It is fascinating to think about how memory shapes their world, creating a continuous thread of identity and belonging. I'm curious, is there a specific, fond memory from long ago that stays vivid for you? Perhaps a childhood home or a summer garden that you can still see clearly in your mind. Feel free to share that gentle nostalgia in the comments, or just hold it close as you relax. For the elephant, these memories extend into the realm of profound emotion. They are among the very few creatures on Earth that exhibit what looks undeniably like mourning. When a herd comes across the bones of another elephant, even if that individual died years ago, a hush falls over the group. They will stop and investigate the remains with a solemn, ritualistic quietness. Using their trunks, which are sensitive enough to pick up a single blade of grass, yet strong enough to uproot a tree, they gently touch the skulls and tusks of the fallen. This is not idle curiosity. Studies suggest they are recognizing the specific individual, responding to the remains with a reverence that suggests a deep understanding of death and loss. They have been observed covering the bodies of deceased elephants with leaves and branches, a gesture of care that serves no survival function other than, perhaps, the expression of love. This emotional intelligence is their true strength. They form bonds that last a lifetime, greeting old friends with joyous, rumbling ceremonies, entwining their trunks and flapping their ears in a display of pure, unadulterated delight. Their superpower is not just that they survive the wilderness, but that they do so with a heavy, gentle heart that remembers every friend, every calf, and every path that led them home. While the elephant finds its strength in memory and community, nature has crafted other masters of survival who take a very different approach, finding their power in a stoic, solitary resilience that has outlasted continents. We turn our gaze now to the ground, to the ancient architects of endurance who wear their skeletons on the outside and hide their secrets in the dark. Consider the scorpion, a creature often feared but rarely appreciated for its biological genius. These arachnids are true time travelers, having walked the earth for over 400 million years, long before the first dinosaur took a breath. Their superpower is a mastery of energy so profound that it borders on suspended animation. In the harshest deserts where food is a rarity, the scorpion does not panic. It simply slows down. They possess the ability to drop their metabolic rate to 1/3 of what is typical for arthropods, a feat that allows some species to survive on a single meal for an entire year. Imagine the efficiency required to sustain life for 12 months on one dinner. When they do this, they enter a state of stillness so deep that they barely need oxygen, yet incredibly, they can snap back into high-alert predation mode in a fraction of a second if prey wanders by. They do not suffer from the lethargy that usually accompanies starvation. They simply wait, perfectly preserved in time. There is also a hidden beauty to them, a secret revealed only under the light of the moon or an ultraviolet lamp.
Scorpions fluoresce, glowing a vibrant, ghostly blue-green in the dark. Scientists believe this is due to beta-carboline and other chemicals in their cuticle, acting as a sort of full-body sensor that detects the intensity of moonlight, helping them decide when it is safe to surface. They are solar-powered shadows, perfectly tuned to the rhythm of the night. Sharing this tier of invincibility is the creature we often try hardest to ignore, the cockroach. If we strip away our domestic annoyance and look at them purely as biological machines, they are nothing short of miraculous. We often hear the myth that they will inherit the Earth after a nuclear fallout, and while they aren't entirely immune to radiation, they are significantly more durable than we are. Their cells divide much more slowly than human cells, and since radiation is most damaging to dividing cells, the cockroach can withstand doses that would be lethal to a human many times over.
Their design is one of redundancy and decentralized control. A cockroach does not rely on a single central brain to keep its body functioning. If, by some misfortune, a cockroach loses its head, it does not die immediately. Its nervous system is distributed throughout its body in clusters of nerve tissue called ganglia, allowing it to stand, react to touch, and move without a brain. In fact, a headless cockroach eventually dies only because it has no mouth with which to drink water. They are also master breath holders, capable of sealing their spiracles, the breathing holes along their sides, to prevent water loss, holding their breath for 40 minutes at a time. These are not pests, they are nature's ultimate endurance athletes, unchanged for eons because they were perfect from the start. And perhaps that is the truest definition of a superpower. It is not always about flash and thunder or speeds that break the sound barrier, though we have seen those marvels too. It is about the quiet, persistent ability to endure. As we look back on the tapestry of life we have explored, from the skies to the deepest trenches, we see that every creature is a master of its own domain. The eagle does not envy the strength of the beetle, and the whale does not seek the speed of the falcon. Each possesses exactly what it needs to thrive in its own corner of the world. We have witnessed eyes that can see colors we cannot imagine, sensing the magnetic fields of the earth to guide long, lonely migrations across open oceans. We have imagined the sensation of slowing time down, reacting in milliseconds to catch a fly or dodge a predator. We have felt the weight of immense strength, the ability to carry burdens far heavier than oneself without complaint or fatigue. These are not magic tricks. They are the result of millions of years of gentle refinement, nature chipping away at the unnecessary until only the essential remains. But there is another common thread running through all these extraordinary abilities, one that is easy to overlook. Every single one of these animals, from the hyperactive hummingbird to the slow-moving sloth, relies on the power of rest. The cheetah cannot sprint forever. The ant must eventually return to the colony. Even the great sharks, drifting through the currents, find a rhythm of conservation. Energy is precious. To wield a superpower is to know when to use it and when to let it go, sinking back into the restorative stillness of the environment. In this way, you share a profound connection with the wildest creatures on Earth. Just like them, you have spent your energy, you have navigated your day, used your senses, applied your strength, and adapted to the challenges before you. And just as the sun dips below the horizon, signaling the end of the hunt and the gathering of the flock, your time for exertion has passed. Now is the time of the superpower of recovery. It is in this state of rest that the body heals,
The mind sorts through the memories of the day, and the spirit rejuvenates, preparing for the sunrise that will inevitably come. The animal kingdom is vast and filled with wonders that baffle our understanding, yet the most universal law is the rhythm of waking and sleeping. As you let go of the day, imagine the quiet forest floor where the moss softens every sound. Imagine the deep blue of the ocean where the water supports every movement with a gentle embrace. The world is safe, and it is breathing along with you. If this journey through the marvelous abilities of the natural world has helped you find a place of calm, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. By joining us, you ensure that there will always be another story waiting for you, another exploration of the gentle science that governs our lives, ready to guide you towards sleep whenever you need it. For now, let your own superpowers fade into the background. You do not need to be strong right now. You do not need to be fast. You do not need to see clearly or hear sharply. You simply need to be. The resilience of the cockroach, the vision of the hawk, and the patience of the tortoise are all woven into the fabric of life that surrounds you. You are part of this magnificent, quiet system. Let the darkness wrap around you like a warm, heavy blanket. The world continues to spin, effortless and steady. Nature is keeping watch, so you can drift away. Deep, restful sleep is the final, most precious gift of all. Good night.